and also Srila Gadadhar Pandit. So we can sing one song in separation of the associates of the Lord. Anyone can play Mridanga? Mridanga player? Katal player? Kirtaniya? Kirtaniyas, please? Or Katal? You can play Katal? So this is a song by Narottam Das Thakur, lamenting in separation. Ye anila premadana karuna prachur Hena Prabhu kota gela acharya thakur kaha mora sarupru kaha sanatan kada saragonata patita pavan kaha mora bhakta juga kaha kavera eka kale kota gela gorana tara pasane kutiba mata anale pasi Goranga gonera nidhi kota kelepa se sabasangira sange jekai lovela se sangana paya kande narottamada Jayandilo premadana karuna prachur Hena Prabhu kota gela acharya Jaya Radha Madhava Radha Madhava Radhe. Jaya Radha Shyama Sundar Radha Shyama Sundar Radhe. Jaya Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Krishna Balaram Jaya Krishna Balaram. Jaya Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva Panchatattva Jaya Panchatattva. Jaya Gaur Gadadhar Jaya Gaur Gadadhar Gaur Gadadhar Jaya Gaur Gadadhar. Jaya Gauranitai 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 Jaya Gauranitai. Nitai Gaura Haribol, 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 Nitai Gaura Haribol. Jaya Jaya Prabhupada, 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 Jaya Jaya Prabhupada. Jaya Bhakti Vinod, Jaya Bhakti Vinod, Bhakti Vinod, Jaya Bhakti Vinod. Jaya Vishwapad Paramahamsa Parivirajaka Chaya Sota Satta Shishamachile Sivaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada Ki. Jaya Vishwapad Paramahamsa Parivirajaka Chaya Sota Satta Shishamachile Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Srila Prabhupada Ki. Srila Jagannath Srila Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj Ki. Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki. Srila Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj Ki. Jai Shri Rup Shri Sanatan Bhattar Raghunath Shri Jeev Gopal Bhattadas Raghunath Sadhu Goswami Prabhu Ki. Prem Se Ko Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivadari Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Ki. Shri Shri Radha Krishna Go Gopal Gopi Gopinath Cham Kund Radha Kundikiri Govardhana Ki. Shri Vrindavan Dham Ki. Shri Mathura Dham Ki. Shri Mayapur Dham Ki. Shri Jagannathpuri Dham Ki. Vrinda Devi Tulsi Devi Ki, Bhakti Devi Ki, Ganga Yamuna Devi Ki, Harinam Sankirtan Yagya Ki, Sri Sri Gaunitai Ki, Sri Sri Krishna Balaram Ki, Sri Sri Radha Shyam Sundar Ki, Sri Gadadhar Pandit Tirubhavtiti Mahamahotsav Ki, Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur Ki, Go Premanande Hari Hari Bo, Samaveta Bhakta Vrinda Ki. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Sri Guru and Chikaranga, all glories to Srila Prabhupada. So, the translation of this song, Yanila Premadana by Narottam Das Thakur, lamenting in separation. He who brought the treasure of prema out of his great compassion, where has such a venerable personality as Sri Srinivas Acharya gone? Where are my Swarup Damodar Goswami and Rupa Goswami? Where is Sanatan Goswami? Where is Raghunath Das Goswami, the savior of the fallen souls? Where are my Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Raghunath Bhatt Goswami? Where is Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami? Where is Gauranga, the king of dancers, suddenly gone? I shall dash my head upon a stone or enter into the fire. Or where should I go to find Gauranga, the treasure house of all divine qualities? Unable to obtain the association of that Srinivasacharya who performed pastimes with the associates of Mahaprabhu, Narottam Das weeps. the eternal associates of the Lord, they appear in this world and they disappear from this world by the will of the Lord. So they are not subjected to the laws of this material world, and of course some pain will be there in this material world even for the eternal associates, but by the mercy of the Lord they can tolerate all difficulties which are there in this material existence. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur made a famous statement also one time. He reasons ill who tells that Vaishnavas die when thou art living still in sound. The Vaishnavas die to live, and living try to spread the holy name around. So Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur is in these eternal associates of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So he's there in Gauri Leela, and so he came to spread the holy names of the Lord, as in this few words he has explained. So explaining the situation of a Vaishnava. So Vaishnava is transcendently situated, and so he's giving up this body, so that we call as Tirubhav, is disappearing from this world. He's not just simply dying like an ordinary person, but by the will of the Lord is living this world to appear or take birth somewhere else, and again to spread the glories of the holy names, to spread the glories of especially Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Sri Radha and Krishna. And so here, thou art living still in sound. So even after they leave this world, the acharyas, so they are still living because they are giving instructions. So Vani, transcendental instructions are there by the mercy of the Lord. They are empowered to give Krishna consciousness to others. And so especially Bhaktivinoda Thakur is known as the seventh Goswami. So the six Goswamis are there of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, eternal associates, Sri Rupa Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Gopal Bhatta Goswami, and Raghunath Bhatt Goswami and Jiva Goswami. They came to write transcendental literatures. They were great scholars, and to excavate or to reveal the lost holy places of Braj. And so similarly, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was empowered to write transcendental literatures, the essence of the Goswami's literatures, and therefore is known as the seventh Goswami, because he had written more than 100 books in glorification of Mahaprabhu, in glorification of Sri Radha and Krishna. Of course, other associates of Mahaprabhu were there, Swarup Damodar and Rai Ramananda wrote. They also wrote some transcendental literatures, but not as much as the six Goswamis. And after the six Goswamis, Narottam Das Thakur was there, who wrote two very beautiful songbooks, Pratna and Prema Bhakti Chandrika, which are also filled with beautiful songs in glorification of Mahaprabhu and Radha Krishna and their associates. And the philosophy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Siddhanta, the conclusion of the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is also mentioned in these two songbooks. And therefore Gaur Kishore Das Babiji Maharaj said one time that these two books are sufficient to do one's bhajan, one's devotional service, centered around the chanting of the holy names, the Maha Mantra. But so for the benefit of, and of course Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he wrote some books also which are very much valuable. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he was very much empowered by Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, by Radha Krishna, to write many transcendental literatures, especially for the persons of this day and age. The time when the British came to India, and so there was a need to, and of course then English was the language spoken practically all over the world, the language of communication. Even nowadays mostly it is English language, so therefore there was a need to write these transcendental literatures in English language also. Before, the literatures, they were written in Sanskrit, in Bengali, and of course some literatures in Hindi also, and in other languages of Bharatvarsha of India. But there was not so much available in the English language. So therefore, Bhaktivinoda Thakur was empowered to write these transcendental literatures in English language. So he was from a well-to-do family who were originally from Orissa, Kendapara district, a place called Choti or Choti Mangalpur. So this was his forefathers' ancestral place, and there they were worshipping the deities also, especially Sisi Radha and Krishna also. And so the song which Prabhupada chanted every day and which we are chanting every day, Radha Madhava Kunja Bihari Gobijana Vallabha Girivaradhari Yashoda Nandana Braja Jana Ranjana Yamuna Tira Vanachari, that was written by Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur for his beloved family deity Sisi Radha Madhav. And actually by his mercy, or by, of course, the mercy of Srila Prabhupada and the mercy of some wonderful Vaishnav who was associated also with Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada and his disciples, and then he was associated with ISKCON also. His name was Fakir Mohan. So he found these deities who were neglected, and so he wanted to bring them here to Braj. And so he came, and actually in 1999, so he asked if he could put our deities during the month of Kartik on the altar. And so he had approached me, and then I spoke to the president, and it was agreed. And since that time, the deities of Radha Madhav, they are coming every year during the month of Kartik, and they are on our Radha Shyama Sundar altar, just next to, because they're small, only this big, of course, small, but very beautiful, and at the same time, so we are very insignificant. So if you are there and serving the deities, then we can appreciate their beauty and their greatness. Very beautiful traditional deities, which are made in Orissa side, and so since 2000, then in 99 he came here, and then since 2000 they're coming here every year. And except during COVID time, for 2 years they were not coming, but otherwise they're coming every year. Also this year they will be coming, and they will be on the altar. So we have the opportunity to take their darshan, and so then we can offer, when we sing Radha Madhav during Kartik, then we can offer directly to them. Of course, ultimately Radha Shyama Sundar and Radha Madhav, they are not different. So same personalities with different names. At the same time, so in this world you can see different deities are there, so they are not different from each other, but then they are different also. And they look slightly different, and they have their devotees, and they are exchanged with their various devotees. So beautiful song by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And he actually compiled 4 songbooks: Sharanagati, Kalyan Kalpataru, Gita Mala and Gitavali. So in which he again has also given all the conclusions or the Siddhanta, the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in his songbooks, because not everyone is philosophically inclined and interested to read many books in regards to the philosophy, but almost everyone likes to sing or likes to hear beautiful songs, especially chanted by devotees who are able to chant very nicely. The Bengali devotees, Oriya devotees, they have a beautiful voice. Of course, even now, other devotees who have come to Krishna consciousness from any part of the world, many of them, they have learned Hindi also or Sanskrit, and so they can also chant very beautifully these songs of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And by singing, by hearing these songs, then we also get the essence of the philosophy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the essence of the books presented by the Acharyas, the 6 Goswamis, and which is then was collected by Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So the essence, and so he has included the essence of the Goswamis' literatures and mentioned in his songs and then also in his books. So one of the book is Navadip Dham Mahatmya, which is a very beautiful book in glorification of Navadip Dham and of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Mahaprabhu's associates. And there he's saying that we Vaishnavas, we should become Saragrahi Vaishnav. Saragrahi, Sa means the essence. Grahi means we should accept the essence of the literatures of the Acharyas. We should take that to our heart. And according to that, we should do our devotional service. And we should not be Bara Dhari Vaishnav. Bara means a load. Dhari, to hold a load. Like of misconception. I am a great Vaishnav. I am the president of the temple. I am a big book distributor. So we should, and then some other conceptions may be there. But that is a kind of burden then for the soul. It's a heavy burden, so we should let it go. Sadadam Bahitva, we should give up, especially pride, false pride. And Dainatva, we should be very humble, accept humility, Sahishnuta, and tolerance. And Amanina Amadana, Krishna Nama Sadalabe, Vraje Radha Krishna Seva Manase Karibe. Not expect honor, but give all honor to others and always chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Vraje Radha Krishna Seva Manase Karibe. And then, that is for those who are a little more advanced. Then try to meditate on Radha and Krishna while chanting the holy names. So mentally serve Radha and Krishna. But for this we have to become qualified. First of all, we have to follow the regulative principles properly. We have to perform sadhana bhakti properly. And then when the consciousness becomes purified, then we are able to sometimes remember Krishna, Krishna's qualities, Krishna's associates, and then Krishna's pastimes. Then we can do Manasi Seva. And so, in this book also he revealed his Sarup. And also in one of the songs, he's explaining, my name is Kamla Manjari. Like we have a name now also. Sangar Thakur, Rupanuga, Raganuga, Rupanuga. So different devotees here, Rishikesh, Prabhu. So this is the name of this body of a sadhaka, but it's not our name in Golok, or maybe in Vaikuntha. Any Vaikuntha Bhaktas here? Any Golok Vasis here? Okay, here mostly Golok Vasis here. Others are not sure, still wondering where I belong to. Or anyone Navadvip Vasi going to Navadvip? Who will go to Navadvip? Yeah, here, Saranga Thakur, Pakka Bengali. But we want to go to both places, Navadvip and Golok Dham, yes. So there we will have our name in Gaur Lila and in Krishna Lila. So Bhaktivinoda Thakur, his name was Kedarnath Datta. He was born in, so the ancestral family was in Choti Mangalpur in Kendarpara, Orissa, but so actually before his birth, so his mother wanted to go to her village, which is in Nadia district in Bengal, in a place called Ula, but now it is known as Bir Nagar. So there he actually appeared, and the year, what was the year? So according to Titi today, but it was 2nd September 1838 he appeared. Of course today is the disappearance day, which was, and so this September, that is after Radhashtami, 3 days after, no, 4 or 5 days after that is the appearance day of Bhaktivinoda Thakur, before Haridas Thakur's. So Trayodashi Titi. And Haridas Thakur disappearance is Chaturdasi, and Dvadashi is Vamana Dvadashi, appearance of Vamandev. So but the disappearance was on 23rd June 1914. In Jagannath Puri he left his body. So he had a place in Jagannath Puri, and actually he spent the last few years there just doing his bhajan, chanting the holy names. And yes, and he had already written so many books, so Bhakti Kutir was the name of his place, a small bhajan kutir to do bhajan. So I had the good fortune of seeing that place maybe 20, 30 years ago. That is very near to Haridas Thakur's Samadhi. Now, so that place came to ISKCON, and so ISKCON decided to make a big building. So now there's a big building there, and so deities of Radha and Krishna there, and Mahaprabhu, and deities of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Srila Prabhupada are there in the temple. So, but there was a small bhajan kutir, just one bhajan kutir, and the garden was there. Nice little place to do bhajan next to Haridas Thakur Samadhi, and of course so many places are there of Mahaprabhu's pastimes and his associates. So but then his transcendental body was brought to Godrum, where he actually stayed for some time, for quite some time he stayed in Navadvip, Godrum Dvip. Surabhi Kunj, there is a song also, Surabhi Kunjate, in Surabhi Kunj. He was doing his bhajan, his writing also, small. Still his room is there where he stayed, so few rooms are there. And there was a mango tree next to it also. So one time, the mango tree is not here anymore, but 30 years ago there was a mango tree, and it is said since Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time it was there. So now the Gauri Vaishnavas who were taking care of the place, they built a nice temple there of the deities of Gonitai and Radha Krishna, and the deity of Bhaktivinoda Thakur is there. And so nearby, maybe 150 meters further down the road, there's another place, Swananda Sukhada Kunj, where he was doing also his writing and some official work. And he was doing some research, trying to find out where is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's appearance place. Because at that time, mostly they were saying it is in Navadvip. But he was not convinced. So therefore he was doing some research. And so then one morning as he was there in his room and he was chanting his holy names, he was looking outside of his window, and so there's a river there, Jalangi, so which is also going into the Ganges River. So two rivers are there, the Ganges River, and on the other side of Mayapur, Jalangi river. So he was looking there across and he could see Mayapur from there. And suddenly he saw one light there. Some effulgence was there from the ground. He was thinking, this is very special. Let me just go there. So he went there and he saw on one place there were many tulsi bushes there. And this light was still there, some light, he was seeing some effulgence. He thought maybe this is the appearance place of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So then he called Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, who was his Shiksha Guru. So he had a Diksha Guru, Vipin Bihari Goswami, who was well known also, from Janavama line. So the consort of Nityananda Prabhu, who was very prominent after the Panchatattva left, and so she was giving guidance to many devotees and also some initiations. So he was in that parampara of Janavama. So Vipin Bihari Goswami was his Diksha Guru. But then he was more inspired by Jagannath Das Babaji, and he felt he was more in line with Rupa Goswami, who was the most important of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's associates. So therefore he took more shelter of Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, and therefore in our Guru Parampara, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj is mentioned as the Guru of Bhaktivinoda Thakur. So sometimes it happens, Shiksha Guru becomes more important than the Diksha Guru. But still, one has to always respect one's Diksha Guru. And so he called him. At that time he was 140 years old. He could hardly walk. And even his eyelids were like going over his eyes, and so he could hardly see. But he was still chanting the holy names. And so he had a servant who was carrying him in the basket. And so he came there, put him down, and then Jagannath Das Babaji, he just jumped out of the basket and he explained and he shouted, Haribol, Haribol, Gauranga, Gauranga, Gauranga. This is the appearance place of Gauranga Sundar. And so it was confirmed. And so by the mercy of Bhaktivinoda Thakur and Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, so the appearance place of Mahaprabhu had been revealed, and then he instructed his divine son. He was praying for somebody to help him to spread Krishna consciousness, because he felt alone I cannot do. And so his prayers were answered, and his wife, of course, he had actually 10 children. So first he has his first wife, but she left after a little while, and then he got married again, and altogether he had 10 children. And so 2 of them, they were very much interested in spiritual life, but so the ray of Vishnu as he wanted, so an empowered personality, that was Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada. He gave him the name Bimala Prasad. So there's a Bimala Devi in the Jagannath temple, Antaranga Shakti of the Lord. So, and Prasad means the mercy, so the internal potency, and ultimately the Mool Shakti, that is Srimati Radharani. All the Lakshmi Devis and other goddesses, even Parvati Devi and so on, Durga Devi, these are simply expansions of Srimati Radharani. So then he saw that this boy is extraordinary, and actually, so when he appeared, his son, divine child, the umbilical cord was wrapped around his body just like a Brahman thread. So he understood this is the person I was praying to from the Lord. And then when he was 6 months old, it was the time of Ratha Yatra, which we observe day after tomorrow. Ashar Mas Ditya Titi, Shukla Paksha. And so he actually was staying on this grand road from the Jagannath temple to Gundicha temple. So the road is known as Grand Road, the biggest road in Puri. So the 3 chariots of Jagannath, Baladev, Subhadra, they are going from there, from the Jagannath temple. But then they stopped in the Viprasthan in the middle, and one other place where one of his devotees was there. But also by his own sweet will, because Jagannath is Krishna himself, the Supreme Lord, Antaryami, and especially in the mood of Krishna in Braj. He is actually Vasudeva Krishna, but in the mood of Krishna in Braj. So he stopped in front of Bhaktivinoda Thakur's house. He was also the district magistrate, and the district magistrate's duty is also to look after the seva of Jagannath. And he was a high court judge, very efficient. So then he stopped there, the car stopped there by the will of the Lord. It was not planned. So then quickly he told his wife, let us bring our son on the chariot. So he was respected, of course, as the district magistrate. And then so his son was brought there and put in front of Jagannath. And then one mala fell, one garland fell of Jagannath just on top of, around Bimal Prasad. Again, a sign that this is a special personality. And then he gave him Jagannath Prasad. The first grain he was eating was Jagannath Prasad. So like father, like son. Empowered personality is father, similarly his son was empowered. Bhaktivinoda Thakur, our schedule was very rigid. Actually, he used to take very little rest, just like the Goswamis, 2-3 hours. He used to take rest 8 o'clock in the evening, 8 o'clock, and get up at 10 o'clock in the evening. And then he was writing from 10 o'clock till 4 o'clock in the morning. And after that, so he was taking again half an hour rest. And then he was chanting japa from 4:30 till 7 o'clock. So the devotees who are chanting Shuddhanam, they can chant very fast, at least 16 rounds in 1 hour. So he must have chanted at least 32 or 2.5 hours, most probably, 48 rounds or so, and then later on 16 more. And then he was doing some correspondence, 7 till 7:30. Then he was studying the Shastras from 7:30 till 9:30. And then he was taking a quick bath, and then he was taking prasadam, half a liter of milk, some fruit and 2 chapatis. Then he was going to the court, and he was high court judge, and he was very efficient. And it is well known in India, there are so many cases there, so many problems are there in life, and they go to the court, and then the judge is there, and the lawyers are there bringing in many cases, and then it's piling up. It is a well-known fact. Many times they are pushed. The judges, come on, you finish these cases. What are you keeping all these cases pending, sometimes pending 1 year, 2 years, 5 years. But he was very efficient. He was looking at the case, and because he had sadbuddhi, transcendental intelligence, and guided by Krishna himself. Okay, what is the case here? The lawyer or 2 parties, and hearing both sides, and then being guided by Krishna, making the decision. Okay, next case, next case, next case. Quickly, quickly. And everyone, the other judges, they were amazed. Everyone was amazed how he was so efficient. So there were no pending cases in Bhaktivinoda Thakur's time. At least he didn't have any cases, so he was so efficient. Then 1 o'clock till 2 o'clock, he took a little break. So he was relaxing, refreshing at home, and then again from 2 to 5 in the court. Then from 5 to 7 he was translating Sanskrit Shastras into Bengali. And then at 7 to 8 he was taking bath again and prasadam, again half a liter of milk, some rice and 2 chapatis. So that was his schedules. So he is also well known for introducing the Namhata preaching, especially in Bengal and Orissa. So establishing preaching centers based on also then of course chanting of the holy names, inducing everyone to chant the holy names. So he wrote books in Bengali, Oriya, and then also of course in Sanskrit some are there also, and then many books in English also. And actually yes, so he sent one book for preaching, so in regards to Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and he was sending that in different places all over the world, so even to America. And one part of that was Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his life and precepts, so his life and teachings. And even one of the devotees then found in one of the universities, where was it, in Canada or in, who remembers, or in, where? No, in America. So I can't remember now exactly which place, in one university. So some disciples found this book and they brought it to Prabhupada and he was very happy. So that was in 1896. The same year when Srila Prabhupada appeared. So that is significant. And actually, of course, the prophecy came also by Mahaprabhu that Prithivityacha yattara naragar vigram savata prachar hoibe moragram. That in every village and town all over the world, my name will be distributed. The Mahamantra will be distributed. And so then later on, Bhaktivinoda Thakur, he also confirmed that, and he was saying, when will the day come when the devotees from all over the world, they will come to Navadvip and together they will chant Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hari, Jai Satchinandana Gaura Hari. So then of course that happened when Prabhupada established the temple in Mayapur. Then the devotees from all over the world, they were coming there and performing Harinam, Sankirtan, doing Navadvip Dham, or the Parikrama, Navadvip Dham Parikrama at Gur Purnima time. So then they were chanting the Mahamantra and the holy names. So the holy names and Jai Satchinandana Gaur Hari. So but then we can see practically then Srila Prabhupada, he fulfilled the prophecy of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and then Bhaktivinoda Thakur, and he spread Krishna consciousness all over the world. And you can find Prabhupada's books everywhere, all over the world, practically in every town and village in the world you can find somebody has Prabhupada's books. So when you heard one time Indradumna Maharaj, so sometimes he's taking the devotees around, and he went to Brazil, and there's a famous river there, Amazon River. You can get things from Amazon, but it's an Amazon River, huge river. So then he was thinking, let me go down this river and do some books distribution at the shores. He was going through one jungle, it's a very huge river. Okay, let us distribute some books and do kirtan. Then he was going there, and here we have books, and then the person was there, well, I already have the books. So, everywhere. So, in the jungle or in the desert, devotees have gone everywhere distributing Prabhupada's books. That is by the mercy of Mahaprabhu, by the mercy of especially then Bhaktivinoda Thakur. And so, yes, and he told Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada to continue the preaching and spread Krishna consciousness also all over the world, and through Bhaktisiddhanta through his disciple A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada, so that was fulfilled. And he had so told Abai when he first met him that you're an educated person, you should spread the Gauravani, the message of Mahaprabhu, to the English-speaking persons, so, and all over the world, so which was done. So he wrote actually so many books which are wonderful. Harinam Chintamani, so about the chanting of the holy names, and there he has mentioned the 10 offenses we should avoid, and then chant, of course, Shuddhanam. So he has also mentioned there that when we chant without offenses, then we will be able to see the divine realm of the Lord and then the divine couple. Some of the books which are very well known, of course, is Chaitanya Mahaprabhu Shikshamrita, the instructions of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and then one famous book, Jaiva Dharma, Jivka Dharma, the occupation of the soul, Jivka Dharma, the religion of the soul, the occupation. Dharma, there he has explained what is the meaning of Dharma. It's not just a religion. Dharma, according to Sanskrit, also means the nature of something, just like water. The nature of water, it is, usually we understand water, we want sweet water. For drinking, even for taking bath, that is better. And so it is liquid, and it is sweet. So similarly, what is the Dharma of the soul? That is to serve Krishna. That is the constitutional position, the nature of the soul. Jivera Swapoy Krishnera Nityadas. So it's explaining about also how to perform our duties here in this world, Namitika Dharma according to Vana Ashram, but then always keeping our devotional service in the center. And then explaining about Nam Tattva, Abhasnam, Namaparad, Abhasnam, Shuddhanam, and then how to enter into the higher realm of following the footsteps of the inhabitants of Braj. So it is a very beautiful book. And another book which is very beautiful, Bhajan Rahasya, the secrets of Bhajan. So Bhajan, so that means as we do Bhajan, singing the devotional songs, that is one meaning of Bhajan. So Bhajan also, the root of that Bhaj, that means worship. And specifically it is mentioned worship of the Supreme Lord, not worship of the demigods, but worship of the Supreme Lord. So Bhajan, that is also usually known as our performance of devotional service, the chanting of the holy names with some love and affection, the worship of the deities, and then hearing Gaur-katha or Hari-katha. So that is all included in Bhajan. So performing one's Bhajan, one's worship of the Lord. So how to do Bhajan? So he has given some instruction. The secrets of Bhajans. There are 8 chapters in this book. And he has quoted many verses. In each chapter he has taken one slok of Shikshashtakam. In the first chapter, the first slok of Shikshashtakam, Cheto Darpanama Janam Bhavamahadavam Nirvapanam. And then he has explained and then he has quoted many verses from different scriptures, so emphasizing that the essence in the age of Kali of the different angas of bhakti, the limits of bhakti, is chanting the holy names of the Lord. And then the second chapter, the second verse, Nam Nam Akari Baudanidja Sarva Saktis Tatat Pitanyamita Smarane Nakala. So there are no hard and fast rules for chanting the holy names. But unfortunately I don't have attraction for chanting the holy names. So he has quoted also some verses in this regard, that although simply by chanting the holy names we can quickly attain Krishna Prem, but unfortunate we are that we don't have attraction for chanting the holy names and we are still attracted to material activities. But we have to come ultimately to the stage of Nam Ruchi, gaining a taste for chanting the holy names. And then also, actually the end of each chapter, the last verse, is quoting one verse of Govinda Lilamrita, which is a book about Radha Krishna's pastimes. What they're doing throughout the day and night, known as Ashtakalya Lila, to make us understand what is the goal. Our goal is to enter Braj, where Radha Krishna performed their pastimes. So we have to remember these pastimes throughout the day. What is Krishna doing in the morning? At 3:30. Where is he? What is he doing? Or 12 o'clock, where is Krishna? Huh? Radhakund, he said Radhakund. Who is there? The Gopas and the Gopas and the cows and calves are there? No. Shrimati Radharani and the Gopis are there. Before that, the Gocharan Leela is there. So, and he's playing with his friends and the cows and calves are grazing, but then suddenly he tells his friends, I just have to go somewhere for a little while. Main aa raha hu. I'm just now coming. And we know in India. So, I'm coming in half an hour, but half an hour can be 2-3 hours also. So he's telling the Gopis, I'm just coming. But he's going to Radhakund meeting Radharani and the Gopis, and he's spending a lot of time there. The longest time is with the Gopis because they are his most beloveds. And then at one point he has to come back, of course, meeting the Gopas again. Oh, okay, nice to see you back, Krishna. And they're going back, and Mother Yashoda, she's anxiously waiting. When is Krishna coming? And so, and then pastimes in the evening and night time, Ras Leela or meeting the Gopis in Nikunja Leela. So like that. So he is giving these verses in the 8 chapters to understand where we actually want to go. What Mahaprabhu came to give. He came to give the Yuga Dharma, the chanting of the holy names, but he came to give the bhav, Braja bhav. So the acharyas have given that. So the essence of Mahaprabhu's teaching. So, and so on. So he is giving the 8 shlokas and of the Shikshashtakam, and then because when we speak, then we have to give some reference from the scriptures. So he gave reference to the 8 verses of Mahaprabhu, which he wrote, and so from Shraddha to Prem, the different stages are there in the 8 shlokas, so he has elaborated on that. Shraddha, then Sadhu Sangha, Bhajana Kriya, Anatta Nivriti, Nishta, Ruchi, Asakti, Bhav, Prem. So we have to gradually advance. So by reading these books, we can get a lot of inspiration, and we get purified, and we get some margdarshan. So it is showing how to proceed. So of course Prabhupada, first we have to read all of Prabhupada's books, and the essence is there of the Goswami's teachings also. But then Prabhupada has indicated what then we may read. Once we have read his books, we should read. Like he has mentioned also about Jaiva Dharma, we should read this book. He has mentioned about Briya Bhagavatamrita by Sanatana Goswami, we should read this book. Anyone who wants to know about Bhagavan, Bhakta and Bhakti must read this book. But first you have to read Prabhupada's books. And then, with the permission of the spiritual master and his guidance, then you may also understand all the books. So, yeah, so it is a very beautiful book also. And then he gave commentaries on Bhagavad Gita and Chaitanya Charitamrita. So, and Nama Bhakti Vinodaya Satchidananda Namini Gaura Shakti Sarupaya Rupanuga Varayate is the foremost of the followers of Rupa Goswami. Gaura Shakti Sarupaya. So it's the embodiment of the manifestation of the mercy of Gaura Shakti. So, what is Gaura Shakti? That is Gadadhar Pandit. Because Gaura, that is, of course, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. But not only Krishna himself. What means Gaura? Govinda and Radha. That is Gaura, Govinda and Radha. Or, so it is mentioned, see Krishna Chaitanya Nahayanya Radha Krishna, see Krishna Chaitanya, Radha Krishna Nahayanya. See Krishna Chaitanya is no different from Radha and Krishna. Radha Bhava Dyuti Samitam Nomi Krishna Sarupam. So his Krishna Sarupa, he has come with the bhava and luster of Srimati Radharani. So it's Krishna with the bhav, the mood of Srimati Radharani and the luster of Srimati Radharani. So at the same time Gadadhar Pandit, so is Srimati Radharani herself. But so in Braja Leela, so sometimes Radharani is controlling Krishna. Swadhin Bhartrika, she is independent lover controlling Krishna many times. Mamata is there, Krishna is mine. Of course first the mood is there, we are the servant of Krishna. Even Radharani feels, I'm a Dasya of Krishna. But then the mood is of lover and beloved is there, and an independent lover who is many times controlling the beloved. Okay, Krishna, now you do this, you do that, and Krishna, yes. And and sometimes she becomes upset when Krishna is going to see Chandravali instead of meeting her. She becomes very angry. Manini Radha. Then man is there, anger. But then in Gaur-Lila, Gadadhar Pandit is always very humble. And actually he appeared also in Navadvip, very near to Jagannath Mishra's house, where Chaitanya Mahaprabhu appeared. Just 1 year later he appeared. So they were friends right from childhood. And school also, school friends. Of course they turned associates. And he was always there in the mood of wanting to serve Mahaprabhu. And of course in Navadvip, and then further on, later on also in Jagannath Puri. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he, of course in the beginning he didn't display his love for Krishna, but he was there like a very good student. Of course he's the Supreme Lord. Tam Sri Krishna Chaitanya Devam Bande Jagat Gurum Yasanukampaya Swapi Mahabhudim Sataram Sukam. So he's Jagat Guru. The Krishna Bande Krishna Jagat Guru is no different from Krishna, but with the mood of Radharani. And he gave instructions. The Sikshashtakam, 8 verses he wrote only, but then he gave instructions to Rupa Goswami, Raghunath Das Goswami, Sanatana Goswami, for our benefit, how to perform our devotional service as practicing devotee, how to attain the highest stage of Braj Bhav, Braj Bhakti. And so revealing the love of Srimati Radharani, Pranaya, and by her love, what she's experiencing, and the bliss she's experiencing and the loving exchange with Krishna. So then Gadadhar Pandit was there, and Navadvip, so they grew up together, and he was very expert in Nyaya Shastra, and nobody could defeat him. So children at that time, they were studying the scriptures, especially those from Brahmana families, and they were discussing the scriptures and having some debate in the scriptures. And so nobody could defeat Mahaprabhu, Gauranga Sundar. Sometimes he was walking and he saw, Gadadhar, come here, we'll have some debate. I'm sorry, I'm busy, I have to go somewhere. They avoided him because he was expert, they could not defeat him. So, but then, as we know, so he got married. Nimai Pandit, he was a great Pandit. And then, but after he met actually Ishwarapuri, he received the holy names. Of course, everything is coming from Mahaprabhu. And he arranged that he appeared during eclipse so that everyone would chant the holy names. And he used to sometimes cry because he wanted his family members to chant Hare Krishna. And they were wondering why Sachimati, why Nimai is crying? Why is crying? And then trying, maybe he wants some milk, trying to breastfeed him, not happening. Maybe he passed water or something, or maybe some insect bit him. No, nothing happening. What to do? We should call the doctor? Maybe some stomach ache or something? Then one day they said, maybe we should chant Hare Krishna. Then they chanted, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And then little Nimai, he stopped crying. And he was smiling. Oh, okay, fine. And then after 2 minutes, okay, he stopped crying, we stopped chanting Hare Krishna. After 2 minutes again, he's crying. And again, why is crying again? They're trying to breastfeed him and seeing what's happening. Maybe we should chant again. Again they started chanting and again he stopped. After a few minutes again they stopped chanting and again he starts crying. And then Mother Sachi told her husband what to do. And he said, we should establish Akhanda Kirtan, 24-hour Kirtan. That makes Mahaprabhu happy. Therefore Prabhupada established Akhanda Kirtan. Akhanda Kirtan Nam Kirtan Ki. And then, so for some time it was going on, but then it stopped. But then Nanda Prabhu in 1986, so for the 500th anniversary he came here, and then Vijay Dashami established again the 24-hour Kirtan, which is going on very nicely since that time. So even after he left, so still the devotees, they were inspired by Nanda Prabhu and they are continuing very nicely up to this day. Harinam Sankirtan Ki. So then, but after he took initiation from Ishwar Puri, chanting the holy names, of course, because he was from Brahmana family, he got the Brahma Gayatri also. But then after he got one more mantra, that is Gopal mantra, which the twice initiated are chanting. And then his Guru Maharaj, Ishwar Puri Pad also told him, no need to study the Vedanta so much and the Vedas. Just chant the holy names. So which he did, and he started the Sankirtan movement. And everyone was happy. Now, Nimai Pandit has become a great devotee of the Lord. He's the Supreme Lord, but he came as a devotee to show how to chant the holy names, in which mood. And at least he was chanting 64 rounds, 1 lakh name, that is actually almost 58 rounds, but 64 is a good number. And he wanted his followers, especially those from Brahmana community, to chant 1 lakh. And he was saying, if you're not chanting 1 lakh, Krishna will not accept your offering. Of course, it's not for everyone. But then Bhaktisiddhanta Prabhupada also told his disciples, you should try to chant if you can. Even Prabhupada at one point told his disciples, but then they were saying too difficult. Then he said 32, too difficult. Okay, at least 16, but not less. And then he must have told Krishna, please, these devotees, they cannot chant 64, you accept their offering, although they are chanting 16 only. So, anyhow, so then he went to Puri, Mahaprabhu, he took sannyas, and then Gadadhar Pandit followed him also there. And then, so they were going to see different places, of course, darshan of Jagannath, and so on. And one time they went to see one deity, Yameshwar Tota, which is not so far from Jagannath temple. Tota means garden. So Yameshwar, so that is a form of Lord Shiva also. Shiva and Vishnu combined. And before that there was another garden, so they were going there, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and his associates, and suddenly Mahaprabhu saw something. He stepped on something which is kind of a stone, and he thought, this is a stone, strange. Then he was with his devotees digging, and he saw a beautiful deity of Gopinath, very big deity. Almost as big as Mahaprabhu. Mahaprabhu was tall, 7 feet, 2 meters and 10 centimeters, and long arms up to the knee. Then he told, then they were seeing some other stone, and then they saw one deity of Radharani and one deity of Lalita Devi, all black stone. And they were established there. And then Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu told Gadadhar Pandit, you should do the seva of these deities. And you should take sannyas. Kshetra sannyas. Kshetra sannyas means entering the renounced order, but just staying in one place, not traveling here and there like other sannyasis are doing. So you take Kshetra sannyas and you dedicate yourself to the seva of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, of Gopinath. And he was happy. Gopinath, very beautiful deity. Anyone has been to Puri and seen Tota Gopinath? Very beautiful deity. So then Mahaprabhu was thinking, I should go to Vrindavan. He was feeling so much separation. He was quoting, Kotai Krishna, where is Krishna, where is Krishna? Feeling separation from Krishna, showing Vipranamba Bhav. First you have to become attached to Krishna a little bit by chanting the holy names, and then you have to cry, Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Bhakti Yoga Dan, Bhakti A, Krishna Nam, Smarane Krandane. What is Bhakti Yoga? What is the wealth of Bhakti Yoga? What is Bhakti Yoga? Krishna Nam, chanting the holy names, and how? Krandane, crying. I am so fallen, I am insignificant, please be merciful. Krishna, where are you? Crying in separation. And then if one is more advanced, one can cry in bliss also. And then again separation will be there. And then tears are coming like torrents of rain, says Mahaprabhu. It was exhibited by him or the 6 Goswamis, even sometimes Prabhupada. So then, so Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he wanted to go to Vrindavan. And even so in Puri he was seeing the Jamuna, he was seeing the ocean, he was thinking, oh, this is Jamuna jumping in the ocean. Or seeing the sand dunes there, Govardhan, Govardhan. And seeing Krishna suddenly. Because if one has love, then Krishna will appear. And then he goes to embrace Krishna. And then Krishna disappears. Then he falls unconscious, crying. So then finally he said, I have to go to Vrindavan. But the devotees, they didn't want to be separated from Mahaprabhu because Prananath is the Lord of their life, more dear than anything else. And then they're making some excuses. So after Kartik one time he was saying, now I want to go. No, Mahaprabhu, it is very cold now in Vrindavan. We know it is cold, not like Puri, it is very nice and pleasant. Therefore many times in the winter we go to Puri, nice weather, we can take bath, but here it's freezing cold. You go later. Okay. Then around his appearance days, go Punima, Holy Utsav is there. I want to go now. No, you go after Dol Utsav. They have some festival also there in Puri. You go after that. Okay, then again he was saying, okay, now I can go. No, now it's very hot in Vrindavan, summertime. Don't go summertime. And we know it's very hot. Mayapur or Puri is a little less hot because the ocean is there, or Mayapur also, and it's raining sometimes. Then rainy season. But rainy season the sannyas cannot travel. So you go after the rainy season, after Kartik. Okay, fine. So loving exchange. But then again after Kartik, but now it's going to be cold, go later. Then becomes angry. Don't tell me anymore anything, otherwise you will never see me anymore. And then immediately, sorry, they realize their mistake, I'm sorry. We are sorry that we tried to instruct you and to stop you from going to Vrindavan. Please forgive us. And then he was ready to go. Of course, then the devotees following him. And then, of course, no issue, a few devotees following. But he's looking back, Gadadhar, what are you doing? While you're going to Vrindavan, I want to go with you. But what about your Kshetra Sannyas? What about your seva to Gopinath? But no, to hell with my seva to Gopinath, to hell with my Kshetra Sannyas. I want to be with you. You're my Prananath. And so, of course, Mahaprabhu is not different from Radha and Krishna, not different from Gopinath. And wherever Mahaprabhu is there, Brajadham is there. Moraman Vrindavan, my mind is Vrindavan. He used to say, being in Puri. But then he said, Mahaprabhu told him, Gadadhar, I understand your feelings, but if you're now coming with me, all the devotees there or the pandits, the brahmanas, they will criticize you and me. Look at this Mahaprabhu, he's taking his devotee with him and neglecting the rule of a kshetra sannyasi who shouldn't leave his place of residence. And then he's giving up the seva of Gopinath. What kind of devotees are they? So you must go back. And then he just fainted, Gadadhar Pandit. And Mahaprabhu told all the devotees also, you go back and bring back Gadadhar Pandit, I will go alone. And then he went towards, first he went towards Bengal, and one devotee was there, and he was making in meditation the path, he was decorating the path where Mahaprabhu was going to go. And in meditation he was offering flowers on the road for Mahaprabhu to go. And so and then suddenly at one place in meditation, Kanai Natashala. So there he realized that Mahaprabhu will not go further than that. And then he told the devotees with firm conviction, Mahaprabhu will only go to Kanai Natashala. He will not go further. And then he will return. And many people were following Mahaprabhu. And then he went to one place, Ramakeli, and first time there, Rupa and Sanatan met Mahaprabhu. And then, of course, he recognized them as his associates, as the Supreme Lord, and they took shelter of him. Also, Jiva Goswami was there, was just 5 years old. He took shelter, and Mahaprabhu put his foot on his head also. And a small boy blessing him, who became a great scholar also. But then he returned back, and all the devotees in Puri, they were also happy. But then later on, a good time again, he left, and then he came to Vrindavan. So then he came back, and of course, and he had also gone to South India, spreading the holy names all over. Then even he went to Dwarka, up to Dwarka and back to Puri. But then, so for 6 years, he was traveling, going to Vrindavan, and touring all over Bharatvarsha, India. But then he came back, and the last 18 years he simply stayed in Jagannath Puri, chanting the holy names of the Lord. And he used to every day go to Tota Gopinath and see Gadadhar Pandit. And many times he asked him, okay, you tell Prahlad Charitra about the life of Prahlad Maharaj. Tell Dhruv Charitra, he said that 100 times, he asked him. So that means few times a year, 4 or 5 times, because 18 years he was there, and 100 times, just to show that, and it is mentioned Bhagavatam was very dear to him, because Bhagavatam is Krishna Sarup, none different from Krishna, and very merciful. Tam adi devam karunani dhanam tam alavarnam sahitavataram apara samsara samudra setu bhajame bhagavat sarupam. Bhagavat Sarup, it is no different from Krishna, Adidev Krishna, Adipurush Krishna, Karunani Dhanam, an ocean of mercy. Tamalavarnam, complexion like the Tamal tree, therefore his name is Tamal Krishna. And he's coming, the book, the Bhagavatam is there for the benefit of the conditioned souls. And by taking shelter of the Bhagavatam, which is like a bridge by which we can cross this samsara, apara samsara, this endless ocean of this material existence. So therefore he wanted to hear the Bhagavatam. And therefore Prabhupada introduced the Bhagavatam every day. So many times he was hearing about Prahlad Maharaj, Dhruva Maharaj. But of course, then his favorite subject matter was the 10th canto, especially the pastimes of Krishna and Braj. And more specifically, Anarpitam Charim Chirakan Vatana Kolo Samarpitam Unat Ujjala Rasam Sabakti Sriyam. Specifically because he's Radha and Krishna. And who is with Radha and Krishna? The gopis. So especially ultimately wanted to give the Madhurya Bhav. So then they were discussing also about Radha Krishna, and he was helping him relish the mood of Srimati Radharani. But he was always submissive and assisting Mahaprabhu in his mood of relishing the love of Srimati Radharani. And night time also Mahaprabhu was hearing from Sarup Damodar Rai Ramananda, from the books of great poets like Jayadeva Goswami, famous book Geet Govind, which is about Radha Krishna's pastimes, or Vidyapati or Chandidas. So in this way, so then Bhaktivinoda Thakur also again, we go back to him. So he therefore also established the worship of Gaur Gadadhar. And he wrote so many beautiful songs. And one stotram is there glorifying Mahaprabhu in Godrum. Bhaja Godrum Kanana Kunjavidam. Smara Gaura Gadadhara Kelikalam. Bhava Gaura Gadadhara Chakshapala. Shinu Gaura Gadadhara Charukata. Bhaja Goduma Kanana Kunjavidam. Bhaja Goduma Kanana Kunjavidam. Bhaja Goduma Kanana Kunjavidam. So, saying that Bhaja, worship in Godrum, in the gardens of Godrum. Bhaja Godrum Akana Kunjavidam, or in the Kunjas. The Vidu, the moon that refers to Gaura Chandra, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So we should remember. So Mahaprabhu especially, but then, so Smara Gaura Gadadhara Kelikalam. So we should hear about the wonderful exchange of Gaur Gadadhar. And then we should consider ourselves as belonging to the group of Gaur Gadadhar. So Gaur Gadadhar are there, and those in Madhurya Bhav, they will be with Gaur Gadadhars. Those in Sakya Bhav, they will be with Gaur Nitai. So, and then we should hear the wonderful pastime. So there's one Gadadhar Ashtakam by Sarup Damodar, but we don't have the time. I will just read one or two verses. And there's one Gaur Gadadhar Ashtakam also by Achyutananda, the son of Advaitacharya. So he wrote one Ashtakam in glorification of Gaur Gadadhar, and Sarup Damodar specifically an Ashtakam in glorification of Gadadhar. So obeisances to Gadadhar Pandit. Gadadharamaham Bande Madhavacharya Nandanam Mahabhava Sarupam Sri Chaitanya Binarupinam. I offer obeisances to Sri Gadadhar Pandit, the son of Madhavacharya, who is the very embodiment of Mahabhav, and whose form is not different from that of Sri Chaitanya. Sri Ladini Swarupaya Gauranga Suridaya Cha Bhakta Shakti Pradhanaya Gadadhara Namastude. I offer pranam to you, Gadadhar Pandit, the very embodiment of the Hladini Shakti and Gauranga's beloved friend, who bestows spiritual strength to the devotees. Gandharvika Swarupaya Gauranga Prema Sampada Gadadharaya Me Nityam Namastu He Kripalave. He who is Gandharvika means Srimati Radharani herself, and whose sole treasure is prem for Gauranga. Unto that compassionate Gadadhar Pandit I continually offer my obeisances. So today is the disappearance day of Gadadhar Pandit. So Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, so he left this world when he was only 48 years. So, and it is mentioned that he entered the body, the deity of Gadadhar Pandit. So after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he entered the deity of Gopinath. Some say he entered the deity of Jagannath, but in our Sampradaya we believe that he entered the deity of Gopinath. So after Chaitanya Mahaprabhu left this world, Gadadhar Pandit was feeling so much separation. So he was 1 year younger, 47 years. But then, because of separation, he was feeling so much separation, and he was then burning in the fire of separation, and I was thinking, what is the use of living without Chaitanya Mahaprabhu? So he became like an old man very quickly, and he was not able to stand straight, and he was walking like this. And then it was difficult to serve Gopinath. So Gopinath told also. And so Gopinath was very merciful, and he sat down. So therefore now you see the deity of Gopinath is sitting down on a stone. And then he could serve him, but still, feeling so much separation, so he left the next year also when he was just 48 years old, and he also entered the body of Gopinath. Srila Gadadhar Pandit ki, Satyananda Gaurari ki, Srila Bhaktivinoda Thakur ki, Srila Rupa Goswami Pada ki, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Srila Prabhupada ki, Srila A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami, Srila Prabhupada ki, Sri Radha Shyama Sundar ki, Go Premanande, Hare Hare Bol, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna,